Hey everybody, welcome into Faith in Football. My name is Neil. Guys, we're here. We made it week 3, and sad to report, I'm sitting at 1-1 after a really close call week 1. It took a league vote to get me the victory, but we got there. However, I got in my own way, as we do many times in our own lives in the real world. I got in my own way in fantasy, and was kind of looking at Saquon to pull me out Monday night, but that didn't happen because he took his eye off the ball and dropped it. And as I try to get too cute with my lineup, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today and what that means in the world of fantasy. So strap in. We're about to talk trades, injuries, and fair trading, and what the difference is between hunting and fishing in fantasy football. That's right. We got it all in fantasy football. We got hunting, we got fishing, we got football. What more can you ask for? Welcome into the show, guys. So, our scripture today comes from Galatians chapter 6, verses 2 through 3. It talks about carrying other's burdens, and I'll read that in a minute. But when we're talking about trading, when we talk about trades in fantasy football, we trade in order to do better for our team. That is our focus. Our focus is strictly on improving our team. It's kind of a very self-centered maneuver, and we are only looking at getting ourselves better and how can we get the best end of this deal. However, some of the best trades that you can pull are trades that benefit both teams. Those are the ones that usually get done the quickest, the easiest, and those are the ones that you can pull off the most. However, we in the fantasy community rarely want that fair across the board trade. We always want to come out on top. That's something that we in the real world also want, and kind of find ourselves in that kind of a trap where we're worried about what's in it for us, what's in it for me. We got that me mentality, when God tells us that we need to have a they mentality, to where we are more worried about others than we are about ourselves. Because when it comes to ourselves, we should be relying on God to take care of us as we take care of others. Jesus told us that when the disciples were arguing about who would be the greatest in the kingdom, he was quick to tell them, whoever is the last among you shall be the first, and whoever is the first shall be the last. And it kind of took them a second. They had to pause to think about that. But I encourage you that as you go through not just your fantasy walk, but your walk in general in life, that you're looking around, looking for a way that you can trade, your time, your finances, your energy, your talent. How can you trade that for an experience with someone else, to where you can give them an experience? Because remember, the Jesus that people see sometimes is only the Jesus in you and me. Now, that's not mine. That's from Jesse Duplantis. So I always tag him below in my videos. Hopefully, he'll see him. I greatly appreciate his ministry. It's meant a lot to me over the years. So Jesse, if you're listening, thank you. Along with Michael Todd and Stephen Furtick, and of course my own pastor at OSC. So to all those who've been influential in my life, and special shout out back in the day to Reverend Dr. Fitzpatrick, who has passed on, but that was my pastor growing up. So a little recognition to him as well for the influence that he played in my early childhood. So, but back to the show. We're talking trading, and we always want to, like I said, we always want to have that edge, that something extra in the trade that makes us feel better about pulling the trigger. Now, there is a panic right now, maybe in your leagues, where you can take advantage of that panic. And maybe somebody said in 0-2, some of we have injuries we're going to talk about later on that you know, they're down a running back or a wide receiver. Maybe they got Debo, maybe they got Cup, guys who are hurt, dinged up, out. Maybe they have a running back like Pachenko who's going to be out several weeks. So things like that, we want to try to take advantage of. Now, in the real world, I want to encourage you to try and take advantage of when you see people down, use that as an opportunity to encourage them. Okay, so it's kind of a backwards thing if you look at it from fantasy point of view, where we want to take advantage of someone's misfortune in fantasy. We want to be uplifting in real life with someone has you know a tragedy happen or things like that. That gives us an opportunity, if we're aware and we're involved enough in someone else's life, to make sure that we're showing them God's love, God's grace, God's mercy during that period of time in their life. So, chapter 6 of Galatians, verses 2 and 3 says this: share each other's burdens, and in this way obey the law of Christ. If you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself. You are not that important. Ouch. There's some harsh words from Paul in writing to the Christians that in Galatia. Um, Look, he's straight up telling you, you ain't that important. And I think that in this day and age of social media, where everybody has an account, and everybody has an opinion and a platform in which to express that opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent, we tend to forget the fact that we're all in this together. Regardless of your financial background, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of your political stance, with elections coming up, regardless of all that mess, we're in this together, y'all. Regardless of whether or not you're from the United States or you're watching overseas, if you are, down the bottom, let me know where you're listening from or where you're watching from. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. Let me know. I know I got my boy Pez, I believe, is international. So Pez, if you're watching, give me a shout, buddy. Let me know where you're from. But we're all in this together, guys. We're all one race. We're all the human race. We were all created in the image of God. And when it says that we're all created in the image of God, it's not talking about this, like how we look, because we all look different. It's just the spirit, because remember, Jesus is the Trinity. It's the God the Father, God the Spirit, God the Holy Ghost, and God Jesus. So all three of them are at one. Okay, so when he said, let's make man in our image, he wasn't talking about the physical representation. He was talking about the spirit. So our spirits are made in the image of God. So remember that when you're walking through your day, that if someone's down, if someone has a burden, help them carry it, pick it up. Okay. And whether that means that you give them a few bucks, or if you have time to help them out and, give them some groceries or help them get a ride somewhere, whatever the case may be, make sure that I know I pray that God make my soul and my spirit sensitive to his calling and his word. So that's why I'm here, guys. That's why I'm here to help. So if you have questions down at the bottom, let me know, and we'll get into uh, some of the injuries that are happening. But first, I want to show you guys a little something. We're going to peruse a trade that I made earlier this week. Right here. This was a trade made between myself and my buddy Nick. Now, Nick is a last place team. I am middle of the pack right now. So we're both trying to move up, but there's more of a desperation, more of a I need a sure thing. to me, and when I got the news that Carolina was benching Bryce Young, their second year quarterback, in favor of Andy Dalton, I immediately reached out to Nick and offered up Tank Dell, who I had really high hopes for this year, but I'm just not seeing the involvement that I want to see. I know he's going to be a boomer bust guy, and there may be weeks where I regret this trade, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think that Deontay Johnson has lost a step. I think that it's more of a quarterback thing where he's just not, Bryce Young just isn't that good. Um, Now, yes, he was the number one pick, but hey, number one picks go wrong all the time. Okay. You guys know what time it is. Speaking of number one picks, if you're in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, your number one pick to go eat somewhere should be Zia Rotisserie Grill. You can find them at 235 Duce Road, Lafayette, Louisiana, off of Johnson Street, right behind the Grand Theater and in front of Red Laurel's Health Club. If you guys get down there, or when you guys get down there, because I'm going to speak that into existence, that you're going to drive down there and check out all the great food that they have. When you get down there, make sure that you're showing them that you subscribe to this channel, Faith in Football. So make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, share. So when you get there, you can get your choice of any appetizer on me from them for the table. So, now don't get carried away with it. Can't four y'all go down there and get 4 appetizers for free. Okay. That's not how it works, but you will be able to feed the table. Everybody be able to get a little something, appetizer wise. You can get the hummus, the Asian element shrimp, which is fantastic. You can get, if you want to try out the ribs before you commit to them, you can do that. They have rib appetizers. So make sure that you're showing them that you subscribe to Faith in Football when you go down to 237 Duce Road in Lafayette, Louisiana. And if you are in the area and you need some catering, make sure you call them up, 337-406-0013. Speak with Andy or any of the wonderful people that'll be answering the phone, taking your call. They'd be more than happy to help you out with some delicious catering food. Look, the Asian almond shrimp, you can get that on the catering menu. You can get some rotisserie chicken. You can get some Thai ribs. The Thai ribs are out of this world. Any chance I get to bring those home, my wife definitely encourages me to do so. So make sure you're checking them out. Make sure you tell them that you watch this show and you subscribe, and pick up your free appetizer on me. Okay, guys? So as I was saying, Deontay Johnson, I see as the number one wide receiver for Carolina. He's leading the league, or leading this team in targets right now. Look, Adam Thielen isn't doing that much. He's getting older. With Andy Dalton coming in, yes. Will Andy Dalton throw interceptions? Of course. However, Andy Dalton is a definite upgrade from Bryce Young. So all those things that we were expecting out of Deontay Johnson, hopefully Dave Canales can go ahead and implement his offense that blew up in Tampa Bay and took Baker Mayfield to another level, blew up in Seattle and took Geno Smith to another level, and when he was there, took Russell Wilson to another level. So make sure that if you can, go out, pick up Deontay Johnson, trade for him. But the reason that this trade worked so well and it went through so quickly, there was not a whole lot of back and forth on this, because Tank Dell is attached to a very high-powered offense in Houston, and he's got tremendous upside. Now, I am willing to part with that simply because we'll take a look at my team. You see here, I have Malik Neighbors, Michael Pittman, Brock Bowers, Amari Cooper, and Jordan Mason. Now, I have absolutely zero problems letting Tank Dell go with that kind of a lineup. Now, my depth is a little to be desired, with the exception of JSN down here at the bottom, who is making it really, really hard on me to keep him on the bench. Should have put him in this past week. I didn't. My bad. But like I said, I got too cute. I also got too cute when I did not put Kyler Murray in my starting lineup. This is my lineup right here for week 3. We see my lineup here for week 2, which let me down less than 3 points in defeat. So as you see, if y'all followed us from the beginning, you know that I went very running back heavy to start my draft. That's how I got Bijan and Barkley. Then came back with Pittman and then Neighbors. But you see down here, I did have Tank Dell, and I made a trade for Amari Cooper later in the week as well, or earlier in the week. Let's see. See a little trash talking going on here in the league. Now I did pick up Jahan Johnson or Jahan Johnson. It's late, guys. Sorry. Jahan Dotson. I did pick him up earlier. I did drop Darius Slayton because hey, there's only one wide receiver in New York, and his name is Malik Neighbors. So just like there's only one Malik Neighbors, there is only one Dusty Shores, and he is associated with my sweetest sponsor, that is Keller's Bakery in Youngsville. You can find them at 627 Lafayette Street in Youngsville, Louisiana. Make sure that you're going down there. And again, same as Zia, make sure that you're showing them that you subscribe to my channel, and you can get, with no purchase necessary, 2 free cookies from Keller's Bakery. Just tell them that Neil sent you. Show them proof that you listen to or watch this channel, and they would be more than happy to hand over some delicious cookies. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love the chocolate chip. I tried the sugar cookies. Those are delicious as well, but I am partial to chocolate chip. So that's the one that I'm going to recommend. But you cannot go wrong with any of the ones that you have down there at Keller's Bakery at 627 Lafayette Street in Youngsville, Louisiana. Now, make sure that you get down there Tuesday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., and check them out. And again, let them know that I sent you. So let's see here. Trying to find my trade. Here we go. So this is the trade that I pulled earlier in the week. I ditched T. Higgins because I be honest with you guys, I'm done riding the T. Higgins roller coaster. It is way too wild of a ride. I can't do it anymore. He's too hit and miss. Look, after week 1 where he got sat down and missed week 1, and then he missed week 2. It's possible that he's back for week 3. I just can't deal with the uncertainty that lies with him. So I went out and got Amari Cooper. Now, my reasoning behind getting Amari Cooper and for this deal was the fact that I wanted Amari Cooper because I know who the backup is in Cleveland. It is Jameis Winston. Now, Deshaun Watson's been playing like hot garbage. So if it comes down to Jameis Winston coming in and relieving Deshaun Watson, then great. That is fantastic. I'm all about that. I know that Amari Cooper is a very steady wide receiver. He doesn't have the up and the down that T. Higgins does. And he has more of a late season boom traditionally that he's shown in his career, where he has really awesome, strong finishes late in the season. So this might be a move that'll pay off later for me, and he might have to be riding my bench in order for me to see a fruit from this. But regardless, whether Deshaun Watson starts playing well, which will turn out well for Mark Cooper, in my opinion, or if James Winston is inserted and he gets to go, and then that'll just be all the better. So now I said that I was going to talk about hunting and fishing. What is the difference? Now, let me cut that down. So, difference between hunting and fishing. This is what I call it. I don't know what anybody else is going to call it, but I'm going to call it hunting and fishing, because when you go fishing, what do? You just throw the rod, throw the lure out there, the hook, and whatever's in the water, that's what you're catching. You can't see it, you don't know. If you're fishing for catfish, you might hook a bass. If you hook fishing for bass, you might hook into a mackerel. Who knows? Okay, but regardless, you're not sure about what what thing you're going to be catching at the end of that line. Whereas if you go hunting, you're taking a specific ammunition, a specific type of gun, you're going to a specific location to get that specific animal that you're going hunting for. Okay, so if you're going hunting for a bear, you're not gonna go in the water. Okay, if you're gonna, and you're not gonna think that you're gonna go catch a deer with a fishing rod. You're gonna go get a deer with a gun or a bow. Okay, so much like that in fantasy football, if you're trying to pull a trade and you want a specific individual, you go right after that individual. You don't put out on the league chat. You don't put anybody on the trade block. You don't see what comes to you. You go specifically to that owner and you want that specific player. I've been targeting Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, because Tampa Bay has a really easy back end of their schedule, which is extremely beneficial for making a playoff run and a championship run. That's how I got this thing. So those are two players that I'm targeting, and I'm waiting to see if they start to decline, because if they start to decline, I can get them a lot cheaper than I can right now. Right now, nobody's letting go of Chris Godwin. Nobody's letting go of Mike Evans. So I have to wait and see. Got to be patient. Okay. So not one of my strong suits, I'll admit, but in that you want to target a specific player. That is called hunting. Now, if you go fishing for a player, then that's when you put somebody on the trade block. Let's just say, for instance, that, and I tell you what, let me pull up my team here real quick for you again. So let's just say that I wanted to see what Jordan Mason could get me. Like, what could he possibly, get for me? There we go. So what I would do is I would click on here and I could put him on the trade block. Okay. So I've got drop, watch. Apparently they don't have us on the here, but when you have it on your phone, unfortunately, Sleeper's a little better on your phone than it is on the laptop. But sorry, I've been talking a lot today. But you're gonna pull them up and you'll see right here where it says drop. Now, of course, I'm not gonna drop Jordan Mason. But if I wanted to see what he'd be like, there's another button there when you look at your phone that has a little star, and it says trade block, or I think it's a little, looks like a suitcase. But it'll say trade block when you touch on it. And that'll put him on the trade block. That lets the rest of the league know that you are willing to entertain offers about that player. So you'll start getting offers in, and people will be like, trying to lowball you, and like, well, here, do you want this guy? Do you want that guy? That's fishing. Okay, that's casting a line out there, seeing what bites. Okay. I don't like doing a whole lot of fishing. I like doing more hunting because I know what I want. Now, if I have a player that I'm willing to part with, okay, I might put him on the trade block and say, okay, hey, what can I get for this guy? But most of the time, I'm going hunting. I'm not going fishing. So you guys need some help with trades down the bottom. Let me know who you're going after. And you have to look at this. What does the team have that you want? Because there's some teams out there that they're not going to let go of their number one wide receiver. Okay, no matter what you offer them, because that's all they have. And if that's all they have and you don't want anything, then that's not a trade partner for you. Okay. Be smart about it. Look at the lineup, because most people are going to be either running back heavy or wide receiver heavy. Now, whether that is through design or by cause and effect of, well, they had a lot of people injured, so they kind of had to switch from being a wide receiver heavy team to a running back heavy team because that's what was available. It's, very team specific. So one team could be very wide receiver heavy. That's the team that you go after a wide receiver. If you have a running back that you're willing to part with, right now I'm working on a deal with David Montgomery. So I'm trying to get him, but I'm trying to get David Montgomery so I can go ahead and flip him and get a wide receiver, because I'm already good at running back. I just need depth at wide receiver. So that's what I'm going after. Sometimes you got to work the room. Okay, you got to work the league. If you know somebody who is willing to trade one of their higher priority running backs, go after that one, because that player that you're going to get is going to be beneficial for you in another trade later on in order to get the player that you actually want. So, not going to throw all my trade secrets out there just yet. But if it falls through, or if it comes through, I will definitely let you guys in on it and show you how that trade worked out and why I was willing to part with the players that I was willing to part with. So trust me, if you saw one of the shows that I've done a couple years ago, it was two different ways to a championship, and it showed my wife's team and my team. Newsflash, she beat me. But her team, all her starters, she drafted. All of my starters, with the exception, I think one person, were additions, whether through trade or the waiver wire, into my team, but we both wound up at the same place. So there's more than one way to get to a championship. Don't let anybody lie to you about that. So let's get into injuries. Now, harkening back to Galatians, when it talks about the burden, remember, people that you meet on a daily basis may not look injured, but they are. And it is up to us as Christians who are Christ followers to make sure that we are interacting with these people, that we are building relationships, that we're building those bonds to where people can feel comfortable and people can feel wanted in the kingdom of Christ. So, getting into injuries, we got a lot to get through. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as I can. So Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, is officially moved to IR. This means that he will be missing at minimum 4 weeks. So if you have Jalen Waddle, if you have Tyreek Hill, if you have not so much Devon Achane, Jonnu Smith, the tight end, if you have any of the pass catchers from Miami, you are concerned. Now, if you're one of those teams who is looking to buy low, this is the time to go after Tyreek. Now, if somebody has Tyreek Hill, typically they have at least one, probably two other wide receivers who are top notch. They may be working out for them. So having a player like Tyreek Hill who does not have a decent quarterback, because Skylar Thompson is nobody's answer for the rest of the season. He's just the guy who's filling in right now. Now, everything that we're hearing, everything that we're being told is that Tua is not going to retire, that he's just going on IR, and he will be getting, as soon as he is cleared to play, he will be back. Here's the problem, is that he is just one good hit away from being out entirely for the rest of the season. Because I will almost guarantee you that if he gets another concussion, they will pull the plug on him. And it's very likely that he could retire from football immediately after that. So if you got Waddle, like I do in one of the leagues, if you believe that Tyreek Hill still can perform, definitely this is the time to go after it. Remember, start low and work your way high. Okay. Now, there are some times when you just got to pay up and you just got to go after it. If you think that Tyreek Hill is that guy, then by all means go for it. However, it's not something I recommend with this environment. There is rumor that Ryan Tannehill is looking to come back to the right environment on the right team. So I don't see where this could be any more right. You got a Miami team that has two outstanding weapons, a backfield that is top notch, and a defense that is playing well in a very winnable division. I mean, y'all seen Buffalo? I mean, they're not the juggernaut that they used to be. As far as passing goes. Now, rushing, if you got a bad rush defense, yes, they will run all over you with James Cook and Josh Allen. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of passing coming out of Josh Allen. The last game was definitely a letdown from his standpoint. And if he doesn't score touchdowns at the goal line, then his usage is middle of the road at best. Definitely not that QB1 overall that you guys drafted in the second round, third round. So Marshawn Lloyd, the rookie running back for Green Bay, is out till week 6. Why is this important? This is important because there's nobody else in Green Bay. So this means that Josh Jacobs will get the backfield all to himself without any threat until at least week 6 of losing any kind of touches as long as he stays healthy. Here's the bad news. The bad news is that Malik Willis is still a quarterback. So that means that everybody and their mama knows that they're going to run the ball because Malik Willis is not good. So if you have a league that you're starting a defense in, I would definitely target the Green Bay Packers. So Joe Mixon, now if any of you saw this play where Joe Mixon was tackled by a hip drop tackle, which they're trying to outlaw in the NFL, then you saw him walk or limp off the field under his own power, which is very encouraging. However, he is expected to miss a little bit of time, but not much. So that's something to keep an eye on. In the meantime, if you're reeling at a running back, then go pick up Cam Akers, who looked really good in preseason. He looked, well, I'm not going to say really good. He looked better than Dameon Pierce, who is the other running back in Houston. Now, AJ Brown, this news came out of nowhere. This was right before the game. So to all those AJ Brown managers, I'm sorry. Not really. being honest, Um, but yeah, AJ Brown is set to miss multiple weeks. He has not hit the IR just yet. Um, remember, IR is if they're going to be out for 4 weeks. If they're going to be out 4 weeks, then they are going to go on IR. If the team thinks that they are week to week, then that's a situation to be monitored. So right now, if you have Devontae Smith, congratulations, you just got paid. Okay, in fantasy gold. So Devontae Smith, we saw last game, Monday night against Houston or against Atlanta. Devontae Smith was just catching everything thrown to him, and he was pretty much the focal point. Jahan Dotson, non-existent. So Dallas Goedert did get a little bit of an uptick, but not much. But like I said, everything is running through Devontae Smith and passing game a little bit to Saquon, but mostly to Devontae Smith. So if you have him, congratulations, ride this out all season long, because regardless of whether AJ Brown comes back or not, Devontae Smith's going to eat, period, plain and simple. Now, this one hurt me because I actually have this guy in 2 of my 3 leagues. Thankfully, not in the Zia League of Record, but Isaiah Pachenko is headed for surgery and is expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks. So he's got a fractured fibula. So what is the answer on this one? This is actually a 3-parter, and pick your poison on this. Kareem Hunt got called into KC to work out, so I'm waiting on word that Kareem Hunt and the Chiefs have agreed to a 1-year deal, probably the veteran minimum. The last time that we saw Kareem Hunt, he was not that spectacular, but in the Andy Reid offense, you really don't have to be too spectacular to be that productive. So here's your choices in Kansas City if you're missing Isaiah Pachenko and you want to still hold on to that Kansas City production. Kareem Hunt, who we're waiting to see if he gets signed. Samaje Perine, who we saw in Cincinnati. They let him go. Then he went to Denver. Then they let him go there. And he wound up with the Chiefs. So good pass catcher out of the backfield. Has some capability, but a little hesitant. He is definitely no Isaiah Pachenko. But how much will his involvement truly be? Or will this just be a very, very cloudy and muddy backfield is yet to be seen, because you still got Carson Steele, the rookie fullback in KC. Look, this guy, his nickname is a crocodile hunter because when he was 5 years old, his dad gave him a baby crocodile, which he still has, and it weighs a little over 100 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, and lives with his parents in Indiana. True story. So is it Carson Steele? Is it Samaje Perine? Is it Kareem Hunt? No one really knows right now. It's all just a guessing game. If you're going to throw a dart, I would throw it. I threw mine at Kareem Hunt. If you want to throw it at Samaje Perine, I'm not mad at you. If you want to go ahead and get the explosive rookie in Carson Steele, this guy's just fun to watch. He's just got that something about him. I just enjoy watching him. So any one of the 3, up to you. I'm not going to be mad at you for any of it. Now, this next one hurt a whole lot of people in a whole lot of different ways. Cooper Kupp is set to miss extended period of time. That is the quote from the Rams. He's set to miss an extended period of time. I don't believe he's hit the IR just yet. It may be coming here in the next day or so. But with him out, with Puka Nacua out, Demarcus Robinson is a play. Colby Parkinson, despite his bad outing last week, is another possible play. Here's the thing, though, is that they're going to lean a lot on the running backs and what they already know. There's Tutu Atwell out there who, for whatever reason, um, he gets on the field, he gets targeted, but they just don't give him a whole lot of playing time. That comes from the ballers. So that part of analyzing I heard earlier today, which is true, and it reminded me of what I've seen in Tutu Atwell at times. So if you want to throw a dart at Tutu Atwell, go for it. He's going to be a boom or bust guy. So again, throw that dart if you want to hang in with the Rams. T. Higgins, a little bit of positive news here. T. Higgins is moving in a positive direction. Now, as I talked about when I was talking about trades, I'm not really big on T. Higgins. I don't want to ride that roller coaster anymore. I'm done. So take that news for what it's worth. The only person that I see that impacting if he comes back is Yoshivas. So, and I had his name down here. Might be on the other one. Andrea Yoshivas. He is the rookie wide receiver from Cincinnati who has stepped in T. Higgins' absence. Look, I'll give all props to my boy Blaze who picked this kid up, and I didn't even know who this dude was. So, Blaze, congratulations. Get one up on me. Now, real quick, we're kind of getting down toward the end. So my last plug for one of my favorite local places to be is Omni's Groceries at 603 Jefferson Street inside of Gordon Square. Make sure you go down there and check them out. They have over 200 local products from over 50 local vendors. They got fresh farm eggs, they got freeze-dried candy, you name it, they got it. It's all local, well, mostly local products. Go down there, check them out. If you're in downtown Lafayette and you need a little snack, go down there, check them out. Bradley and the guys down there at Amise definitely have off the chain stuff, real quick, real easy, real affordable. Go down there, check them out. If you like muffaletta sliders or sandwiches, they have muffaletta sliders that are just like New Orleans. Go down there, check them out. Tell them that I sent you. We're working on a promotion for them, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, tell them that Neil sent you and I said hi. So Evan Engram is a TBD tight end for Jacksonville. So if you have Evan Engram, I would definitely look at pivoting to another tight end. He has not been as productive as we probably thought he would be, and the tight end position is so up and down and so hit and miss. At this point, you might just be better off going ahead and streaming the position and playing the matchups. So something to think about if you do not have space on an IR, or if your IR does not allow out players to be placed on IR, which in my league of record we do, in the ballers we do, but I have another league where they do not, which I'm very bummed about. But anyway, I'm on St. Brown after that amazing performance this past week. He is a wait and see. He did have a knee injury. They're thinking it's a MCL sprain, but they're not really sure. So that's definitely a situation that you want to monitor if you are a St. Brown owner, because week 1 he was absolutely horrible. Week 2 he was absolutely phenomenal. So 19 catches, I believe. No, it might have been 20 catches, almost 200 yards. So just off the chain performance by St. Brown. Before we get the last 2 bits of bad news, I'm gonna give you a little bit of good news. Double dose of players that are to return in week 3. That would be Jake Ferguson, tight end from Dallas. And boy, do they need some help because they just got manhandled by the Saints. Living down here in South Louisiana, I loved, aside from being a Washington fan, loved seeing this. Trust me, I'm not going to lie. I did not see this coming. I did not think that the Saints had it in them to just wallop Dallas in Dallas. That was the best part of it all. So Jake Ferguson's coming back, and Jordan Addison, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, is on his way back for week 3 as well. Make sure that you are making your adjustments accordingly. If anybody dropped either one of these players, you might want to go and sneakily pick them up off of waivers before your waivers run. At whatever time they run when you're seeing this, because I'm recording this on Tuesday. It's late, but it'll be out there for you guys Wednesday for you guys to take a look at. Rachaad White is dealing with a groin injury, so that is a definitely an issue that is causing concern with owners of Rachaad White. Definitely a situation to be monitored, so make sure you keep an eye out on that. David Njoku out for 3 weeks. So again, another reason why I like having Amari Cooper. If David Njoku's down, you got Jerry Jeudy. So if Jerry Jeudy is out there on your waiver wire, you might want to go and stash him on your roster as well. If you're hurting at wide receiver, he is definitely worth a pickup and see moving forward. So, guys, we got some injuries. We got some a little bit of insight into making trades. If you guys want help on trades, make sure that you leave me the questions down below. Even if you play fantasy football with me and you have my number or I work with you, help me out. Give me a little content to talk about down here, guys. So that is it for this episode of Faith in Football. And remember, I encourage you guys to keep in mind Galatians chapter 6, verses 2 and 3. Share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ. If you think you are too important to help someone, you're only fooling yourself. You are not that important. Now, you guys are always important to me, but do not think too highly of ourselves in our dealings with others. And remember, football is good, but God is greater. We'll see you guys next time on Faith in Football. It'll be week 3 start sets. See you guys then.